Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Roxill's 10 to 1 session with Alex Crossley. She is the digital editor for Olive magazine. Hi, Alex. How are you?
Hello. Good. Thank you. You all right?
Right. Today, we just want to go through really quickly what's happened to you guys over the last couple of months. Can you just talk to me about what's changed since lockdown? How is your job different? Or is it different? Maybe it's just the same, but working from home.
Very different. So I actually came back from holiday in Argentina and came home back to the office, which was no longer an office. It was me working from home. So everything had to be like shipped off from the office to my house, and everybody had been working from home for about a week. So it was very strange. It's been completely having to pivot our digital strategy and content, and in print as well. Obviously, they've had quite big strategy pivots because we have restaurants and travel as two of our pillars, which is quite difficult at the moment, as you can imagine.
I see you do loads of travel. Are you feeling cooped up?
No, I'm all right. I was very, very lucky to have had a couple of trips earlier in the year, which I usually wouldn't have done. But so I'm not feeling too sorry for myself and enjoying the sunshine.
Brilliant. So tell us how your digital content's changed. What are you looking for now? What's working really well?
So our traffic's soaring, which is great. We're up 200% year on year.
Wow.
In terms of traffic from beginning of lockdown, and it's really been a pivot to our core pillars. So like baking, vegetarian. We did a lot of what other people were doing, but we chose to go a bit more slowly in our changes and not do anything rash, because we put out a social statement, but that was about a week after lockdown, because we wanted to make sure we were getting our messaging right and making sure that we're serving our audience as we wanted to, rather than just sending out this is what we're going to do now. So we had a social statement which is across our website and social media platforms, and it encourages our audience to get in touch with us if they have any issues, if they are missing ingredients, which isn't the case anymore as such, but it was a real
big deal.
Like everyone at the beginning, it was all the questions where I can't get flour, how can I bake a cake without flour or without eggs, etc. So we did a lot of store cupboard staples. And then in terms of our restaurant content, we had to completely scrap our new openings and also travel foodie guides. We're focusing a lot more on virtual travel experiences and escapism. So we have a long read in print each month anyway, which we upload onto the website as well. And that we are continuing to do that. So we're trying to focus on UK regions and producers, which is really successful. And with restaurants, we're doing how you can help the restaurants help others. So a lot of people are doing initiatives to help the NHS and also vulnerable people in their boroughs. And we also focus on regional restaurants as well.
Yeah. Are there any stories that really stick out for you that you're really proud of, that you would want a PR to use as an example of a great story, that the kind of thing that they could bring to you and you'd go crazy for it?
So a story from a restaurant?
Yeah, restaurant or like you were saying, virtual travel.
I think that what's gone really well for us is things like the regional. I think what's really good for we stand apart from some of our competitors in that we focus on regional restaurants, and it's really great to see communities coming together, like in York, where I'm from. I happen to have seen that on social media, and it's called the Supper Collective, I think.
Mhm.
And it's restaurants such as Scosh, and it's Pig and Pastry,
Mhm.
and lots of different restaurants and cafes and food businesses around there. And
Yeah.
they are helping out the vulnerable with their meals and all coming together. So I think that's what people are doing in regions across the.
Okay, go for it.
So yeah, I think for us, we want to hear about really exciting initiatives around the UK. That might be in a little village, or it might be in a city, and how our readers can help
Yeah.
and access those like food boxes and things, because there are tons in London, which they're all amazing. It's really hard to choose which ones to support. But yeah, it'd be great to hear about anything elsewhere in the UK. That includes Northern Ireland as well.
Brilliant. Okay, so on a practical level, tell me more about your week. How does it work? Do you have a weekly meeting? How do you pitch in ideas to the editors? How do you decide what you're going to do online?
So we are very lacking in resource at the moment. On the website, there is only me at the moment, and I usually have two people supporting me. They both have moved on jobs, and it's just
Right.
really bad timing. Not their fault. Not my fault, I don't think. They were both just ready to move on into bigger roles.
Mhm.
And at the moment we've got a recruitment freeze, so we are having to use some really great support from freelancers, and we've got two particular freelancers that we're using, and also
What are their names?
Jess Carter and Charlotte Morgan.
Okay, great.
Jess is doing the restaurants initiatives guide, so I will ask her if you can use her email and you can put that on your database.
Sure.
And so in terms of the working week, it's pretty much, we have some really great resource from BBC Good Food, because we are sister brands now as part of Immediate Media. And we use somebody who does audience development and SEO, so we're all really clued up on SEO, but she sends around a report each Monday, and then we will find anything that we are wanting to go after. On Olive, we don't tend to go for fads, so we wouldn't go for the slime, was it? Edible slime, things like that.
Oh, gross.
Not really us, but something that we've been looking at this week is like the focaccia art, because
Yeah.
it is a little bit faddy, but it's actually really a useful thing to do at the moment and quite creative, and it kind of fits our audience quite well. So we're always up for going on the back of those things, but we don't tend to do anything that's too high a turnaround, because we like to be evergreen as well.
Yeah. Is there a good day of the week to pitch ideas to you?
Yes, I'd say not Monday, because for me in particular, it's literally, I'm just briefing freelancers and the social team. We don't have a team, but somebody's doing that for us. And so definitely not Monday, because it'll just get lost. I'd say Wednesday, actually, which might seem quite surprising because it's like the middle of the week, but yeah, especially for the restaurants feature that goes out on a Friday, that's usually written on a Thursday. So Wednesday is probably the best time, and then I can forward it on to Jess.
Great. Are you an email girl, or, I mean, people's habits of communicating with PR seems to have changed in lockdown. Some people are very much into the phone now to kind of get a bit of human contact, but how is it for you?
Well, I think I'm definitely not a phone girl, because I really like talking to people and having that contact and building those relationships. But because of the nature of my job, it's quite split. So I do a lot of strategy for the website. So in terms of pitching, to me, a lot of it isn't as relevant as it would be to, because I just forward it on. So if it's something that somebody's writing for me on the website, or if somebody's writing it in print, then Laura and I will forward it on to the correct people. So it's definitely worth sending stuff in. And also it's just worth noting as well, for our Olive Loves section, that isn't on the website, but we do choose products from Olive Loves in print and put it on the website where it's appropriate, and for gift guides, etc. But at the moment, because one of the person who was doing that actually is one of the people who's left, so we're doing it between all of the team now. But Laura is managing that from, in terms of who's getting which samples, and she actually just put anything that any product samples and reviews she puts on. We've got a Teams channel for Olive samples, and then she will then forward on the email, and then the relevant person will find out, they'll send their address, and then they'll ask for images, etc., and then they'll feed it into a main spreadsheet. So it's definitely worth still pitching products, because we're still going with that.
That's Laura Rowe, the editor, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah. Right, print editor, sorry. Okay, final thing, Alex, is there anything that is a real no-no for you in terms of PR emails, PR approaches to you? Obviously, you just said that you do more strategy, so maybe is it knowing the right person to pitch to? Do you get lots of pitches that are totally irrelevant for you, or do you get chased on things that you hate being chased?
There's a few things that I think are worth noting, and I'll speak for my colleagues as well. Mm-hmm. So the biggest no-no for us, and I know I'm speaking for my editor here as well, is when you get an email in the morning and then the PR calls to follow up. This is even before lockdown as well. Calls to follow up in the afternoon or a few hours later. It's just, as I think journalists often say, our inbox is so full, and I appreciate that PR's inboxes are as full, if not even more full. So I really appreciate that. But what I think sometimes you have to realise is that for a lot of journalists, particularly in such a lean team such as Olive, we have like a main job, and then like a bit of a niche where we write articles as well. So my main job, for example, is Olive website strategy and keeping that going. But then I was doing a lot of travel writing on the side. Well, it's not on the side, but as part of my job. Yeah. And then Hannah Guinness is a sub-editor. So she's doing all the deadlines and everything, but then she also is a drinks writer.
Yeah.
So it's not very helpful for her if she's on deadline and on print deadline, and somebody's chasing her 2 hours later about a drink that they've sent in, because I think the rule is for Olive, if we like it and want to feature it, we will. And I know sometimes things can get lost, especially at the moment because there's so much going on. But I do think that if we really like the look of something, we think it's really appropriate, we will get back to you. So I think if you're following up, do so via email, but wait a week. Because I know it's poor form not to reply, but sometimes we just can't, especially when you know that 5 people on the team have received the same email. That's another thing that's a real no-no, is we often get the same email. So Laura, Janine, who's the food director, and me might get the same email. And then if one of us has replied and then somebody else has replied, certain people rightly get quite frustrated because it's doubling up on efforts, especially when we're so low on resource. Yeah. So I think not chasing straight away and only sending to the right person And with that comes the fact that knowing what you're pitching, because I do get emails from people saying, like, just wondering, or calls saying, just wanted to know what you're working on at the moment and if I can help. And I'm sure everyone knows that that's just not, like, it's just not doing the job properly. I know there's reasons why people have to have calls and things, but just say, I've seen this feature and I want to pitch this to you.
Yeah.
And if you don't see anywhere that it's can be pitched, then I would just say don't pitch it.
Yeah.
Because on Olive, it's very specific what we cover. So it's recipes, but they are our recipes. So unfortunately, there isn't really any space for branded recipes apart from if they are branded and sponsored. So a price comes with that.
Yeah.
But then it's very much products that could go in Olive Loves, restaurants that are doing amazing things for the NHS, vulnerable people. It doesn't have to be the NHS. And then travel pictures that could be done virtually. So if there's any great Instagram accounts that people have and initiatives. So yeah.
Brilliant. That's amazing. Thanks so much for your time, Alex. I really appreciate it.
No worries.